Hi everyone, today we're on Tetris.com, and the point of this video will be to explain to you everything you need to know about Tetris, how to play it, and in the second part of the video, how to improve on your scores. So, first of all, on how to play the game, I will cover what's the point of the game, what are the pieces, how you move them and rotate them, how to hold a piece, how points work, what's a Tetris, how levels work, and how to do combos. Then in the second part of the video, if that interests you more, I will talk about how to play better Tetris games with what scores you can reach, what levels you can practice, T-spins and how to do them, how to burn lines and get out of trouble, getting to 1,000,000 points, and my own personal experience playing the game. So if that interests you, relax and I'll explain to you everything you need to know about Tetris. Let's get into it. So this is what Tetris looks like. This is on Tetris.com, where you have pieces basically falling down and you have to stack them, clear some lines, get some points. That's the point of the game, is to get as many points as you can get, and you get those points by clearing lines. So the pieces that you have are actually all present here. When I will drop them all, they are all at the bottom. You have the blue piece, or J piece, you have the pink piece, this one that I have right now, which is the T piece, because it looks like a T like that, the O piece, the yellow one, because it looks like an O, of course, the L piece, the orange one, the long bar, or the I piece, is this one, the light blue one. This one is the S piece, it's the green one, and then the red one is the Z piece. It's good to know the names, but it's not necessary to remember them. It's not important. You have 7 pieces, and they correspond to all the 7 different ways to put 4 squares together as pieces. Now that you know what the pieces are, let's see how you can move them. Here on this game, you can move them left or right, like this, with the left and right arrows. You can rotate them with, let's say I move it on the left, and you can rotate them by the up arrow. You can soft drop them. So here it's dropping at a certain rate. It's on level 1, so it drops pretty slowly. If you want to drop it more quickly, you can press the down arrow, and there you go. But you can also hard drop them with the space bar, and boom, it drops directly, and it creates a lot of points. Here I'm at 1,317 points. If I hard drop, I get a couple points. Again, more points, even without clearing lines. This will stop at some point. At a certain level, you just don't get points by putting pieces down. It just happens at the beginning of the game, and it gives you a couple extra points, so that's always good. Now, how do points work? Well, you get points by clearing lines. Let's test it right now. I'll clear one line here with the O piece. Boom, 100 points. It's the very beginning of the game, so you get 100 points for clearing one line. Again, if I do it, boom, 100 points. Now, I can choose to clear 4 lines with a Tetris. That's when you clear 4 lines at the same time with a long bar. If I drop it, it's 800 points. As you can see, it's not 400 points, 4 times 100 points for a single line. No, it's 800 points, which is a lot more. So, therefore, it's more beneficial to clear 4 lines at a time with a Tetris. The more Tetrises you get, the more points you'll get. Here, I didn't even get 800 points. I got 2,400 points, and that's combos. So, combos, also I just misdropped a piece on the left, but don't worry about that. Combos are basically when you clear lines one after another in a certain manner. Here I clear 2 lines with this piece when I drop. Boom, that's 600 points. Here I clear 2 lines again. That's a double combo, and it's 700 points. If I do a Tetris, it's at that point, because I leveled up, 1,600 points. But if I do another Tetris after the previous Tetris, that's a Tetris back-to-back, and that's more points. So I won't tell you every combo and every number of points that you get for each combo, but the basic rule is that if you do combos, you get more points. If you do Tetrises, you get more points. If you do Tetris back to back again and again, you get the most points. So the goal of the game is to have the most points before you die. You die when the stack of pieces go all the way up and the game ends. Now let's see how levels work. So you start on level 1 on Tetris.com. It's similar for other types of Tetris, but what you'll learn is that different versions of Tetris have slightly different rules, and on some versions you won't have the preview. Here you have the preview at the bottom of the long bar, and it moves as you move the piece. Some games don't have that preview. Some games don't have the hold button. So here you can hold a piece, and so before going about levels, I'll tell you actually how to hold a piece. Here I can choose to drop a piece. If I don't want to use the L piece that I currently have, I can use the T piece that I have on hold on the top left. To do that, I press C. And as you can see, pun intended of course, the piece that was on hold you now have, and it starts back at the very top again. So if I'm all the way at the bottom and I'm kind of stuck, boom, I hold and I'm back at the top, and I have a bit more time to decide what to do with that piece. Of course, because of that delay, you just can't hold and hold and hold a piece forever. Here I choose to hold and get the red one in hold, get the blue one to use. If I press C again, it won't do anything because I hold that piece. But for the next piece, I can do it. Boom, I hold. So that's how to do it. It's with the C button on your keyboard, and it's very useful. It's very useful to hold pieces, because sometimes you're a bit trapped and you can hold, let's say for example the long bar. If I want to do a Tetris at some point, but I don't want to wait for a long bar, I can just continue my run, and then here I can't really place it anywhere. It's a bit annoying. Okay, I have a long bar, I do a Tetris, and I'm out of trouble for a bit. And then I have a long bar here, I want to keep it for later. Boom, I do this, and then I have a long bar and hold, and it allows me to do a Tetris whenever I want, or something like that. So going back to levels, here we are on level 2, and as we saw earlier, if you go up in levels, the same kind of moves that you do, let's say you do a Tetris, will score more points than level 1. Here we do back-to-back Tetris, 2,500 points, let's say, and when I'll reach level 3, it'll be more. So here I'm on level 3, it'll be worth more. Level 4 or 5 will be worth more. So let's just wait. Let's try to reach higher levels, if I can not be a fool. There we go. Now we're on level 4, and normally the different moves that I'll do, let's do just a single clear for the line. It was 100 points on the very first time we did it. Here it's 400 points already. It was 100 points on level 1, 400 points on level 4. I can kind of guess that we'll get, I don't know, 1,000 points on level 10 or something. So levels go up and up as long as you clear lines. It doesn't matter if you do them by Tetris or just a single line. The number of lines cleared here on the left correspond to the level. It will make you go up a level. And so, yeah, that goes up and up until, let's say, level 30, about level 30. By that point, it gets really tough. My current kind of level that I'm at is level 24, 25, 26. Sometimes, very rarely, I can reach level 27, but generally I die and the game goes too fast at level 25, because for every level that you reach, the game goes a little bit faster, and that's what makes it harder. You score more points, that's great, but the counter to that is that it goes faster. For now, it's still okay. As we can see, the piece falls relatively slow, at least for me. For you, it might be different when you start the game. But as the levels go higher and higher, it'll go faster and faster. So the point of the game is to continue scoring those points, continue clearing lines, going up the levels as much as you can, as long as you can do that, you'll be good. And then at some point you'll eventually die in the game and you'll have a certain score. Okay, so now let's start the second section of this video, which is how to improve your score at Tetris. You know how to play it, you've played it a little bit, you've got a couple of scores, maybe you got 50,000, maybe 100,000, maybe more, that's great. But now you want to improve your game. How to do so? Well, first of all, what are some realistic scores you can reach at the beginning and just in general in the game? What's the maximum score? What's the world record? Let's get some info on that. So, from memory, I'm not too sure, but from memory, I think the highest score is probably more than 2,600,000, I think. I'm not too sure. It's an incredible score. It's incredibly hard to get it. Personally, my best scores are around 1,200,000 to 1,400,000. I had one game at 1,500,000, and that was honestly the best moment of my life. Now, realistically, in your first couple of months playing the game, you can get a couple 100,000 points. It doesn't seem a lot compared to the millions, but it's already really good because you're improving and you're not doing Tetrises all the time. You get playstyles that are a bit like what I have right now, which is a bit messy when you clear a single line and another single line. And by doing so, by clearing just single lines, you get some points, but you go up levels more quickly than for less points than if you just did Tetrises. Tetrises is basically being efficient and scoring the most points you can per the least amount of lines that you can, if it makes sense. So a good goal for you if you're just starting to play the game is to go for 100,000 points, which I'm about to reach right now. Boom, that's 100,000 points. I got it on level 9, but that's because I'm playing pretty well. Not a perfect game, but a pretty good game. So for you, you might reach it at level 9, maybe at level 10, level 11. Maybe you can't reach it because you died before because it's too fast. That's okay, you'll improve. And at some point, by practicing more and more, you'll be better at placing the pieces. Now onto the levels and which levels you can practice at. Here I'm at level 12. It's going already rather quickly. This is already a good level to reach and a good level to practice at. Oh, look at this. I'm going to do an all clear. There's no more lines on it, and that creates actually a lot of points. It's very rare to get, so that's why it's good to include it in this video. If you clear all the lines and there's nothing left on the board, you get a lot of points. But don't count on that. That's not a strategy because it's very, very hard to do, especially as it goes on and goes much faster in the game, but fun to see. So if you can't reach, let's say, level 13, you've tried it, but it goes too fast and you can't reach it, how can you practice it? Well, here I'm just gonna let myself die and we can look at what's possible for us. When we go to the home, here we can see that we start on level 1 and we can play, but by clicking on it, you can start at level 5, level 10, level 15, level 20, or level 25. And then it goes back to level 1. So if you want to practice basically playing at a higher speed, at a higher level, if you can only reach level 10, but you're kind of struggling at level 10, you don't have to start a game over at level 1. You can practice, decide to start at level 5 or directly at level 10 and practice at a certain speed. Let's go to level 15. Let's see what it looks like after this ad. So now it's loading and it's going to start at level 15. You're going to see the speed is already much different. It's very different. It's much more quick, and yeah, it's harder to talk over because I'm having trouble thinking about where to place the different pieces. But you get the idea. It goes more quickly, but for me, because I'm quite comfortable at that level, I can still play. For you, it might not be the case, so you can choose to practice at those certain levels. if we go back to the home, I told you that I have some trouble around level 25. Let's go to level 25 and let's see what that looks for me. Here, I'm going to practice at level 25, and as you can see, the pieces directly appear at the bottom, and I don't have much rotation that I can do on those pieces. I don't have much options. I have to go very quickly. Also, the game is lagging a bit because I'm recording my screen, so that's always a plus. But basically, you can see it's chaos. I can't do as much things as I could do before. I don't have much freedom. I have to operate much faster than before, and boom, I'm already dead. I only cleared one line and got 5,000 points. So this is good practice. It's good to practice at a certain speed, at a certain level, but it's also good to start back at level 1. And because the speed gradually increases, you're getting more and more used to a certain speed of the game. Now we're going to talk about burning lines and how to get rid of lines when you're in trouble like this. Here we have a board, or the grid of Tetris, that's just in a very bad position. How do we clear that? Well, there's no easy answer. It's really a case by case, but in general, it's about filling the holes and not putting anything over those holes with the pieces we're putting down. So for example, here we have this hole that I can put the long bar in, then it's perfect. The hole over here is perfect for the piece I have on hold. I take it out, I place it here, and it clears one line. Now the hole is going to be this one. We have two choices. We can put this one here, but it's not going to do too much. I'll just keep it on the right, and here it's good to clear two lines with the T piece. And then boom, we can clear a bit here. And you'll see that the more you practice, the better you'll get at that. That's why it's tough to kind of talk about. It's hard to teach because it's a lot of practice of, oh, I know already that this piece is perfect for here. Here it's perfect for a T piece. Here it's perfect for this. But you can kind of get help from the preview of the piece when it touches the surface. Here you can see it fits well. Okay. Here you can do this, and then the red one, you can see it fits well there. Whereas when you put the preview here, it creates a hole. Here it's good, there's still something on the left. This is a bad position, so this is good. This is a good position. And the more you'll play, the more you'll have intuition on where good positions are for different pieces. Okay, now we're ready to talk about T-spins. T-spins is a very important part of the game, especially if you want to get better at Tetris. And that's because I've been lying to you. Doing Tetris back to back scores a lot of points, but it's not exactly the thing that scores the most points, at least not in this version of the game on Tetris.com. Here I will show you something that might surprise you, and it's called a T-spin. When you place a T-piece in a hole, and by rotating it, you clear lines. Here I did a T-spin double, so I cleared two lines, and it was equal to 1,200 points, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly. So 1,200 points for two lines cleared. If I clear two lines with this, that's 300 points. That's a lot more points when you do T-spins. Unfortunately, it's very hard to replicate. That's one of the difficulties of T-spins. It's very hard to do for a setup, whereas the setup for Tetrises are pretty easy. You just do a hole on the right and you drop a long bar on the right, or the left or the middle, wherever you want. The right is pretty cool because then you can just jam the right arrow key to drop the pieces later on when it goes very fast. And you can have a system on how to create those setups, but the T-spin setup looks a bit like this. You have to have this sort of cross where you can rotate the T-piece in, and that's a bit tougher. But basically the T-spin gets you the most points, and that's why with just Tetrises, maybe a couple T-spins if you don't do it on purpose. Here I'm going to do an empty T-spin, I'm going to do a T-spin and clear no lines, and it gives me points. I cleared no lines and I got more points than if I were to clear a line because I did a T-spin. And so with just Tetrises and no T-spins, you can get up to, I don't know, 800, 900,000 points, which is already very, very good. But if you want to get past that, you will have to do a strategy that favors T-spins and not necessarily Tetrises. So you have to probably do a lot of empty T-spins and then maybe a lot of Tetrises on the right, just like this. That will get you above 1,000,000 points. And as one of the final chapters of this video, the 1,000,000 points, I remembered when I tried to get 1,000,000 points, I just couldn't. With mostly Tetrises, I couldn't. I had to change my strategy and do the T-spin, a T-spin method that primarily focuses on T-spins and then some Tetrises. After that, after successfully improving my technique and method, I successfully got 1,000,000 points and more. And that's kind of the way I play right now, is with a lot of T-spins and Tetrises. You alternate those, but you primarily focus on T-spins by doing setups like this, where I can clear 2 lines with a T-spin and I still have the well on the right, which is the hole on the right basically, for a Tetris. Here I can do another T-spin. And it still counts as back-to-back with the Tetrises. So that scores a lot more points than playing regularly with just Tetrises or single, double line clears. So if your goal is to get 1,000,000 points, that's definitely the way to do it. But don't expect to get it very early. It takes a lot of time to even get to, let's say, 400, 500,000 points. But if that's part of your goals, you can write it down as a goal and practice and try to get to level 20, level 21, level 22, level 25 if you can get there. If you're at level 25 and you get, let's say, up to 300, 400,000 points, then that's great. You're reaching a level and a speed that are really impressive. Now it's about efficiency. Every line that you clear, you have to try and get it by either a Tetris or a T-spin. If you do a lot of singles or doubles, that's what's keeping your score down, because you're reaching the level at which, for me, for example, I can reach level 25 and get more than 1,000,000 points. But if someone else reaches level 25 and gets only 400, 500,000 points, it's because there's not enough efficiency in how you cleared those lines. Maybe that's your case, maybe it's not, but it's something to think about if you want to improve your score, being more efficient. Now that I've covered all of this, I want to talk a bit about my own experience of playing Tetris. I've been playing Tetris for more than 6 years, mostly on this website, Tetris.com, which has a very nice version of the game. So not all versions have the preview where you can see where the piece will arrive when it touches the bottom. Not all the versions have a piece that you can hold. That's really good to have hold on there. It gives you, a bit of a joker if you need one. Not all versions have where you can touch pieces and change it. The classic version of Tetris on NES, on Nintendo, once you touch a surface, it stops there. The piece stops there as soon as it touches another piece. Here, you can move it around, and that enables you, in part, to do a lot more T-spins, which are not super common in classic Tetris, because once it touches, it freezes almost immediately. So it's a pretty friendly game. It's also very, very visual. The colors are pretty vivid. You can always distinguish which piece is which also by the color. You have 3 pieces that will arrive next on the top right. That's very useful. And after playing for a long time, I don't even have to look at which pieces are coming up. I just know that by the color I have a side vision, let's say, of which pieces will arrive just by the color, so I can anticipate that already. Now, after playing for a few years, I got to scores of 100, 200, 300,000 points, and it was really good. I improved, and it was mostly on doing more and more Tetrises like these, and just going up the levels, going to level 15, level 20, level up to level 23, 24, and at some points it just gets really quick. So I did do some practices at level 20, level 25 to practice playing at a higher speed, and this does help you improve your score. Then when I really wanted to get 1,000,000 points, I just had to do T-spins. There was nothing. I tried everything to get 1,000,000 points with just Tetrises, and it was impossible for me to do that. So I had to practice the new strategy of T-spins, which I can show you right now, by the way. Okay, so this is an example of what I would do in a game that I would play. I would do this kind of setup where, okay, it's gonna be difficult actually with those different pieces. Okay, we'll just make it work. I do this setup, something that looks like this, where I have a setup for a T-spin and I do a T-spin. Then I wait a bit, I do another setup, another T-spin. I wait some more, another setup, another T-spin, but as you can see, there's still some stuff at the bottom that we're not getting rid of. So how does that work? For now, another setup, another T-spin, and at some point you have enough where you can just put long bars in and you'll do Tetrises as well. So for now I can do a Tetris, but for now I just want to keep the setup for later and later, so that it can go on forever practically, but sometimes the setup is not that easy to do. I won't teach you how to do the setup, it's pretty complicated. You can see other videos, and maybe I'll do a video like that in the future. And then boom, you get a Tetris, but it still counts as a combo. And then you try to get out of trouble. And then you do some more T-spins. As you can see, here I've cleared 18 lines and I'm at almost 20,000 points. Okay, 20 lines, 23,000 points. Let's see how that compares to when you play with just Tetrises. Okay, so now we're just gonna do Tetrises. Let's see how it looks. I'm gonna try to go a bit quickly so that you don't have to stay here forever. To talk more about my experience while waiting to get to 20 lines cleared, yeah, the practicing helps you go faster. It helps you play a bit like this, which I'm doing right now, which is like other games. It's a reflex. It becomes a reflex. The more you play, the more you know where to place the different pieces, and that's also the fun part, is that you can just practice and improve at a constant rate, and that's pretty fun to do. And then your board looks very clean like this. You don't have any lines that you have to clear up before doing Tetrises. You're keeping your board clean. Your grid is pretty simple. You have flat surfaces where you can drop the next piece, and boom, and you go up and up. And sometimes you go a bit too much up and you die because you were too greedy in the number of lines you wanted to get. Oh, we're at 20 lines, perfect. 20 lines, less than 10,000 points with just Tetrises. And I was going pretty fast, so I still got points by hard dropping pieces like this, for example. I got 22 points, 18 points. And at some point it stops. You don't get any more points by hard dropping pieces, but sometimes at the very beginning of the game you do. So here, 20 lines equals 9,000 points. Let's get to 23,000 points. Let's see. Okay, so 23,000 points is about 35 lines instead of 20. So you can already see that even at the beginning, where you don't make as many points as you do later on by clearing 1, 2, 3, or 4 lines, there's already a difference, and T-spins already make a big difference in the number of points you get. In almost 40 lines, almost double the lines, you get double the score in half the lines. Sorry, you get double the score in half the lines when you use almost exclusively T-spins. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you learned something. I hope you're excited to play some Tetris. You can go back to this video to rewatch some of the things that might be helpful to you just in the future, not right now. If you're just starting to play Tetris, doing T-spins is not the way to go. It's too hard when you're just a beginner playing Tetris for the first time, but might be helpful in the future if you really like the game. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like it if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Tetris content, of course, including some videos that I will link at the very end of the video that you can actually watch right now. They will appear on screen with 1 million points or more than 1 million points on Tetris.com. And as always, I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching.